Today we are going to talk about graphing equations, which is kind of a combination of the previous two lessons that we have done. If you look on the graph, what I would like you to do first is point with your pencil or your finger to the equation, or rather not the equation, but the point 4, 8. So go ahead and point to where you would find the point 4, 8. Hopefully you were able to point to the location 4 over. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 8, which would be right here. Okay, hopefully that was a review. So now what I would like you to do is think about the equations that we did the other day. For example, we could say y equals 3 plus x. The first thing we're going to need to do to graph this equation is to make what is called a t-chart or a t-table, where we have an x column and a y column. And these correspond with the x and y in our problem. So what you should do is you should pick a few numbers to give for x. So for instance, I can pick 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And I plug these values into our equation. You can pick any values for x that you wish, negative or positive. But the main thing is once you've chosen these values in the x column, you're going to plug them in for x. So when x is 0, we need to figure out what y equals. So I'm going to write the equation, y equals 3 plus, and I'm filling in 0 for x. So y will equal 3 plus 0 is 3. So this will go up here. So when x is 0, y is 3. I will do the same for 1. I will put in 2, and I will put in 3. So when x is 1, we have 3 plus 1, so y equals 4. When x is 2, we have 3 plus 2, so y equals 5. And our last one, when x equals 3, we plug that in. 3 plus 3, y equals 6. So now that I have my points ready, these are now considered ordered pairs. So now I have 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, and 3, 6. I am ready to graph these points. Okay, so now I'm going to take the t-chart or t-table that we filled in just a second ago, and now we're just going to plot these points. So the first point I'm going to plot is 0, 3, so that means I go 0 to the right or left, and then I go 3 up. So my first point will be right here. My second point is 1, 4, so I go to the right to positive 1, and then up to positive 4. My third point, 2, 5, follow the same pattern, over 2, up 5. And my last one is 3, 6. So these are just 4 of the points that fall on the line of this equation, and I can then connect the dots and use a straight line to graph the equation y equals 3 plus x. So now what I would like you to do on a separate sheet of paper or a scratched piece of paper is fill out a t-chart or t-table for the equation y equals x plus 8. So on your separate sheet of paper, go ahead and make an x and a y column and try to do 3 or 4 different values for x and figure out what the y solution would be when you plug those back into the problem. Please pause the video and complete this step. Okay, you should have done at least 3 or 4 values for x. If you did what I did in the previous problem, the 0, 1, 2, 3, you could do 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. It doesn't really matter as long as you pick, I would say, at least 3 or 4 points. So if I plug in 0, I would have gotten 8. If I plug in negative 1 plus 8 is a positive 7. Negative 2 plus 8 is a positive 6. And negative 3 plus 8 is a positive 5. You could have gotten different ones, but we're going to go take this chart to the graph. So here you will see the chart that I just completed. You might have some different values depending on what you chose for x. But what I would like you to do on this graph is to pause the video and plot your 3 or 4 points that you came up with for this equation. So please pause the video and graph. You will probably have to do this on a separate piece of paper. Okay, so if I plotted my points, I would be at 0, positive 8, -1, positive 7, -2, positive 6, and -3, positive 5. So there are my 4 points. So now I will just connect the dots, and your line, no matter what points you chose, should be at a similar, exactly the same as mine. Just your points might be at different spots on the line, but it should go through -8, 0, and it should go through 0, positive 8. So just to recap the steps, when you need to graph a linear equation, for instance, y equals 2 times x, step 1 is to make a t-table or t-chart with at least 3 different values for x. Step 2 is to then take these points from the t-chart and graph them on your coordinate graph. And then step 3, connect the dots with a straight edge, if possible, and you will have your completed linear equation graphed.